First of all, I offer my Shastra pronouns. Lord's feet of our spiritual masters, Lai Shrimad Bhaktivedanta, Shri Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Shri Gurudev, Lai Shrimad Bhaktivedanta, Shri Maharaj, Shri Gurudev, and entire Rupalakari Guru, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas present. So today is a very auspicious tithi. This is the Tirumava tithi of two beloved associates of Srila Prabhupada, Shri Srimad Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj and Shri Srimad Nitai Das Babaji Maharaj. So about Nitai Das Babaji Maharaj, I was trying to read something. Not much is known about his life. But I heard something that he was a pujari in this Mayapur temple, this Yogapeeth. He was a pujari there, and I think ultimately he was given samadhi there in this Yogapeeth Mayapur. Because if you go to this Yogapeeth Mayapur temple, and if you go right beside this Lakshmi Narasimhadev temple, the temple of Lakshmi Narasimhadev is actually situated on the samadhi of Srimati Bhagavati Devi, who was the wife of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. So when his wife entered into samadhi, Bhagavati Devi, I think Prabhupada placed her in samadhi. I think she left after Bhaktivedanta Thakur. So after she left, then when she was placed into samadhi, on that same place, this temple of Lakshmi Narasimhadev was constructed there on her samadhi. Because Bhagavati Devi, she was also the Siksha Guru of Prabhupada. She was not just his mother, she was a great devotee herself. It was her who instructed Prabhupada that now you must go preaching. Now you go and start preaching, but your father, Bhaktivedanta Thakur's instructions everywhere. So then he established this Gaudiya mission. And he started publishing all these books, magazines and everything. So if you go past that temple there, if you go past this samadhi of Bhagavati Devi, then you will see there are many samadhis of many disciples of Prabhupada. All these, even there were some disciples of Prabhupada who left before Prabhupada. Like, there was one disciple, I think his name was Bhakti Shriru. Bhakti Shriru. There was Bhakti Vaibhav Sagar Maharaj, he left before Prabhupada. So he was given samadhi in that same place there in Mayapur. Also, like some sannyas disciples, and also his disciples who appeared later, they were also given samadhi in that place. So Nitai Das Babaji Maharaj, his samadhi is also there in that place. So today is also the Tiruvallur or Srimad Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, very beloved disciple of Srila Prabhupada, also very intimate corporate of so many of Prabhupada's disciples. Like once Babaji Maharaj, he came to meet Swami Maharaj in Vrindavan. Then Swami Maharaj was in his room, and Babaji Maharaj is so senior, but still he was waiting outside Swami Maharaj's room. And then he asked one of Swami Maharaj's disciples, "Oh, can I go see your spiritual master?" Then he said, "No, Prabhupada is resting, you cannot see him." And he kept waiting outside, like waiting for Swami Maharaj. And then this disciple, he got so annoyed by his presence, he wanted to throw him out physically, take him and throw him out. Then another disciple, he told Prabhupada, "Now Prabhupada, some more gentleman wants to see you, and this devotee, such and such, he wants to throw him out." And Swami Maharaj, he looked down, he saw it was his corporal, Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji. He chastised, he said, "Hey, what are you doing? He's a very good friend of mine. Bring him here." Immediately, we got Babaji Maharaj there. And Babaji Maharaj and Swami Maharaj, they were embracing each other so much. They were speaking in Bengali, and they were joking, laughing so much. They were enjoying each other's association so much. This was told by this Radhanath Swami. He was known to recount this past time. At the time, he was also very new to the movement. And he was seeing everything from outside. So then he recalled this incident. So this way, Babaji Maharaj, he was so dear to everyone. Everyone used to love him so much. Sridhar Maharaj, Manu Maharaj, Swami Maharaj, Param Gurudev. It is said that when Param Gurudev went on all these different places, like to South India, because that time Param Gurudev, he would reserve an entire train for devotees to go to different places in South India. So then, Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he would be given all the money for the expenses of the entire journey. On behalf of all the devotees, Param Gurudev would give him all the money. And it said that if any of the devotees need anything, they'll come and they'll take from you. So he would like to make sure that all the pilgrimages would go on very smoothly. That there was no shortage of money in any sense, and if the devotees needed anything, they'll come to him. So Param Gurudev had so much like love for his godbrother, and always keep him by his side. Once he was in Chennai, in Madras, so in 1960, then it is that the President of India, Rajendra Prasad, a very good person he was. So he came there, very pious man. So then when he heard Babaji Maharaj start singing Kirtan, then he was so enchanted. After Babaji Maharaj finished, then he held his hands, he folded his hands, and he requested Babaji Maharaj, kindly can you please continue your Kirtan for some more time. Then Babaji Maharaj continued doing Kirtan for 2-3 hours more. Because he was like Nam-Nishta. Anyone he would see, he would only say, "Oh, Chanda Mahamantra, do Kirtan." Anyone, small boy, elderly gentleman, anyone he'd come across, engage all of them in Kirtan. He was like Kirtan Vigraha. He was very dainty of Harinam Sankirtan. So then, when this President of India, when he heard him sing, like for 2 more hours, despite his busy schedule, then he said, "Now I know there are sadhus in this world." He said, "I was thinking that there were no sadhus in this world, but after listening to his Kirtan, I realized that there's sadhus still present in this world." So he appeared in East Bengal, that is present day Bangladesh. It is said that one of his distant relatives was Rabindranath Tagore. So Rabindranath Tagore, he was the one who wrote the national anthem for India. He also received the Nobel Peace Prize for writing Gitanjali. Gitanjali means it's like a Bengali rendition of the Bhagavad Gita. He translated some shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita into Bengali and rendered them in poetic form. So he was a very famous person in India. Even now they respect him so much. So Rabindranath Tagore was like his very distant relative. And Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. So here, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he's had a lot of his association. And even Gurudev would speak about him so much in Gita. Even recently also, Babaji spoke about him. That Babaji Maharaj, once he came to Mathura, hammered some Mahaprasad. At that time, there was some remnants left on his plate. So then Prabhuji told all his god brothers, hey, Babaji Maharaj is Mahaprasad. Let's honor it. He said, no. How can I honor this Mahaprasad? I won't. Prabhuji honored that Mahaprasad. He said, how would change my life honoring the remnants of the great Mahamahapurusha Vishnu? So he would always come to Mathura time to time. He would do kirtan there. Even when Swami Maharaj took sannyas in 1959 along with Muni Maharaj, and the whole time Babaji Maharaj he was doing kirtan. From morning to afternoon. The whole time he was doing kirtan there. Understand? So he appeared there and he spent all. Generally, here it is said, Prabhupada, he would only grant Diksha mantras only on the specific recommendation of senior devotees. So prior to awarding Diksha, the birth names of the aspiring initiates would be written down in a register. Alongside each of those names, Prabhupada would personally choose and write a suitable Vaishnava name to be conferred upon that devotee. So before a devotee would be initiated, he'd have to be recommended by a senior Vaishnava. And Prabhupada would see if he was qualified or not. And then he would have his name written down on a register. And then Prabhupada he would give him Diksha and give him a spiritual name. So on the day Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was to receive Diksha, Prabhupada had written down the name Sarveshwar Das Brahmachari beside his previous name. Because he had given him initiation, he had written this name. When Srila Babaji Maharaj presented himself in Prabhupada's quarters to receive the mantras, a devotee mistakenly told him that he would not be receiving Diksha that day. Babaji Maharaj replied, it is only appropriate that things proceed according to my adhikar, my qualification. It is quite sufficient for me to learn how to properly honor and chant the Harinam and most mercifully receive. So he had already received Harinam. But when he was about to receive Diksha, then when he went to Prabhupada's room to see him, then one of his god brothers, he said, oh, today is you're not supposed to receive Diksha. You're supposed to receive Diksha on another day. So then he said, all right, no. He said, okay, I've already received Harinam. If Prabhupada doesn't desire to give me Diksha on this day, then I'll just wait for as long as he wants me to. So then, overhearing this, Prabhupada gave him Diksha. Then he said, I'll just see how humble he is. Even though that other person had committed a mistake, he was supposed to receive Diksha today. But that other person, he said that, no, you're not supposed to receive Diksha this day or another day. But still he was so humble, he didn't argue with him. Saying, oh, I was supposed to receive Diksha, this, that, you know. Still he was very humble. He just said, all right. And then Prabhupada, he was there. He heard him. And Prabhupada, he said, all right, I'll give you Diksha. And then he said, I'll change your name from Sarveshwar to Swa-Adhikarananda. Swa-Adhikarananda means one who takes delight in his own Swa-Adhikar, in his own Adhikar qualification. So he was given the name Swa-Adhikarananda Das Brahmachari. Prabhupada was very merciful. It is said that even some good persons, like Bhaktivedanta Santa Maharaj's father, when he was supposed to receive initiation also, then he had a habit of smoking, no, not Santa Maharaj's father, Krishna Keshava, his father. So his father had a habit of smoking bidis. So then some devotees told him, how many years have you been smoking bidis? Many years have been smoking bidis. And they said, how can you take Diksha from Prabhupada? Then he said, no, I'll ask Prabhupada. So then when he went and asked Prabhupada, then he said, I have this habit of smoking bidis. Then Prabhupada said, all right, if you promise to give up this habit on this very day, I'll give you Diksha this very day, he said. So then in front of everyone he promised, that from now I'll stop smoking bidis, I won't smoke anything. Prabhupada immediately gave him Diksha. Prabhupada, he would see how their longing was, how their desire, how their sincerity was to receive Diksha. So Babaji Maharaj, he perfectly exemplified the saying, simple living, high thinking. On his upper body, he wore a patua, an armless shirt with two pockets sewn onto the front. And around his waist, he wore a short, knee-length cloth. Means this cloth was up to his knees. In the winter, he found it sufficient to wrap himself in a simple blanket and go about his business. No, he wore very simple clothing. If you see, you can see some videos of him also. When Swami Maharaj was about to enter into Samadhi, you can see him also. He is also there, standing with all the devotees. Like all the brahmacharis, all the devotees are standing in line to have darshan of Swami Maharaj. He is also there, standing in line. And it is said that when he entered into Samadhi, when Gurudev performed the Samadhi ceremony for Swami Maharaj, then Babaji Maharaj, he was present the whole time doing kirtan. At that time also. And even when Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj also, before he was about to leave his body, and he requested Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, can you kindly do kirtan for me? He said, I want to leave my body just by listening to your kirtan. He said, while you're doing kirtan, I'll leave my body. And while he was doing kirtan, Madhav Maharaj left his body in Calcutta. Because Madhav Maharaj and Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj had a very intimate friendship. Because once Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji, he went to one person called Singhania. So this Banwari Singhania, he was a very wealthy industrialist, very wealthy businessman. So he went to his house, and on the day of Ekadashi, the whole day, whole night, he was just doing kirtan. Because that was a standard, no? Prabhupada's disciples. For 3 days they would follow Ekadashi. So then this industrialist, along with his family, he was so much like enchanted by his kirtan. And he said, how can I serve you? Babaji Maharaj normally would not ask money, would not ask pranami, nothing from anyone. But that day, he said, I have a request. And then he said that my godbrother, Madhav Maharaj, he has obtained this land where Prabhupada was born, Prabhupada's birthplace. So if you can arrange for a nice temple to be built in this place, then I would consider it like very invaluable seva. So then, this person, Banwari Singhania, even though he's still alive, he did a lot of seva, even Gurudev, everyone. So then he said, all right. And along with his father, he came and he financed the entire construction of the temple there in Prabhupada's birthplace. Built a very nice guest house there, Thakurji's altar, everything he financed. So Madhav Maharaj, he was very much indebted to his godbrother that he approached this businessman and he requested him to build this temple. So this way Madhav Maharaj, he requested him and he said, can you just do kirtan when I'm leaving? So he kept doing kirtan and Madhav Maharaj left his body. And even like there was that history in ISKCON when Gaur Govind Maharaj, he was like exhibiting these symptoms of bhav. So when he was exhibiting these symptoms of bhav, some of his godbrothers, they were thinking that maybe he's gone mad, he's gone crazy. Because Gaur Govind Maharaj, he lost complete awareness of his physical body. So then they approached Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. They asked him, like he's exhibiting all these very strange symptoms, what are they? They thought he was crazy. And Babaji Maharaj, he said, no, these are the symptoms of bhav. He said, yes, he's experiencing bhav in his heart. Don't think he's mad, he's crazy. So there, like, I remember this Padmanabh Maharaj, he was saying once that when Babaji Maharaj came there to have darshan of Swami Maharaj's Samadhi, it was so cold, he said. All the devotees were feeling so cold and they had so many blankets and everything. And Babaji Maharaj had nothing. Like, it's been described, he only wore a short shirt, nothing. So then Padmanabh Maharaj, he had like a shawl. So then he went and he covered Babaji Maharaj with that shawl. He was saying, he just covered a very nice shawl. Babaji Maharaj said, oh, you're going to need this expensive shawl. I don't need this. And he said, no. Very humbly, he requested, kindly accept this. Then he wore it. Babaji Maharaj would say that Narada Rishi instructed the hunter Mrigari to break and throw away his bow, give up all concerns for his livelihood and simply perform bhajan. After promising he would arrange for all of Mrigari's necessities, Narada Rishi left that place. When he returned 6 months later, Mrigari said, Gurudev, please don't send so many things. Devarshi Narada told him to use whatever he needed and distribute the rest. So there's that history that Mrigari was a very cruel hunter. What would he do? He would shoot at animals and he won't kill them entirely. Rather, these animals would be shot and they'll be like suffering so much. And they won't even die. And after some time, suffering, then they would die. So Narada Rishi, he saw all these animals lying on the ground. They had arrows piercing their hearts, but still they were not dying. They were just like fluttering on the ground. So then Naradaji was thinking, who is that cruel person who's shooting all these birds? He looked around and he saw this Brigari. And he said, why are you doing this? Then he said, oh, I've been taught to do this, to kill them and make sure that they die a very slow death. Naradaji said, don't do this. You know what will happen? You'll have to suffer so much in hell. And Naradaji took some water from his commander and he threw it on his head, sprinkled it on his head, and then there he saw all these animals that he had killed that were standing in line, waiting to do the same thing to him. So then he said, oh, how can I be forgiven really to all these sins? Then he said, break your bow and arrow. He said, take your bow and break it and throw your arrows away. But he said, what about my livelihood? I have nothing. Now he said, don't worry. Just sit in one place, just chant Harinam, and everything you want will come. So then so many people, they were thinking, just say he was such a cruel hunter, and still he has changed. They used to bring him so many things, so many presentations. So then once Naradaji, he came with his friend Parvat Muni. So when he came with Parvat Muni, then as soon as Mrigari saw Naradaji coming, then he ran to see Naradaji. But then immediately he saw some ants going on the ground. So he took his chadar and he started gently moving those ants away. Then Naradaji told his friend, just see, he was such a cruel fellow, he used to kill so many animals, now he doesn't even want to step on an ant. He doesn't want to kill even an ant, no. See how kind-hearted he's become. So then when Naradaji went to see him, then Mrigari, he said, that oh Gurudev, you've arranged for so many things to be given to me, but I don't need so many things. And Naradaji told him, okay, no harm. Whatever you have, you distribute to others. So Babaji Maharaj would say that all these things that people are sending me, I feel that just as Naradaji was sending to his disciple, Mrigari, through all these people, I feel Prabhupada is sending me up all these things through all these different kinds of people. So Prabhupada is inspiring them to send all these things to me. I never think that a particular person is giving these things to me. I don't feel that he or she is giving, rather Prabhupada himself is giving through me. Rather, I consider such people as postmen sent by my Gurudev to deliver various items on his behalf. So he's saying, whatever I need, I keep. And whatever I have no use for, I distribute to other devotees. He will not keep anything. So once, one Brajavasi donated a piece of land to Babaji Maharaj in Raman Reti. So this is Raman Reti right here, where Krishna and Baladev used to perform all the leelas. So then Babaji Maharaj, he requested for some money from some devotees. Then he got some bricks, cement, and then he said, alright, I'll build a small kutir in this place. But then, however, when he visited the land, just a couple of days before the scheduled cornerstone laying ceremony, so just before the foundation was about to be laid, 2 days before, then the brother of the person who had given that land to Babaji Maharaj, he approached him. And he said that this land that has been given by my brother is not actually his, this is mine, he said. So you do one thing, I'll give you some other piece of land, you go there and you construct a bhajan kuti, not here, he said. This is my land. Then Babaji Maharaj was thinking, what is this person saying? Then he said, here, I have no need for a bhajan kuti. My god brothers, they have so many temples, I'll just go stay there. Because he's saying, just see Kali Yuga, two brothers, how they're fighting over property. No, two brothers who were born from the same mother, who share the same blood, how they're fighting for property. He said, I don't need any of this. You keep that land, and I'm going away. So then that person, he said, at least take your bricks, cement, and all these things away. You spend so much money buying them. He said, I don't want them also. You keep them, he said. Then he remarked, the nature of material possessions is such that the greed to own them causes conflict even between brothers. So Babaji Maharaj said, just see how brothers are fighting. He said, I don't want, he said. Once when Babaji Maharaj visited the house of Banwari Lal Singhania, there he performed kirtan throughout the entire night. In the morning, this Banwari Lal Singhania, he told there was his niece, so his brother's daughter, she told her father that Radharani herself was dancing to the beat of Babaji Maharaj's kirtan the entire time he sang. So she's saying, I felt Radharani, everyone was dancing when he sang kirtan. You can still listen to his recordings also. Such sweet kirtans that he sings. Even now, if you go on the internet, you can listen to some of the kirtans. He memorized the entire Krishna Karmanamrita. all of Vilap Kusumanjali, all of Krishna Karnamrita, all of Brahma Samhita, all these verses he knew by heart. And he would continuously sing for like 3-4 hours, 5-6 hours, non-stop, without taking a break. That audio file, wherein he has sung all the verses of Krishna Karnamrita, they recorded it. The devotees recorded that thing, and you can listen to it. All the verses of Krishna Karnamrita, without any stop, just continuously. So then, when he started singing, then all the people, Banwarilaal and his entire family, they started weeping so much. Then, like Babaji Maharaj, he requested him that kindly build this temple for my Guru Maharaj. So then, whenever his godbrothers would come to the station, whoever it was, be it Madhav Maharaj, Bam Maharaj, Param Gurudev, Bhakti Giri Maharaj, Aranya Maharaj, whenever they would come, he would be waiting in the station 2-3 hours prayer, and he'd be doing kirtan the whole time. And then he would receive all his godbrothers, and while doing kirtan the whole way, he would go with his godbrothers to the temple. And in this way, he would stay with them for some time. Because he was already staying in Vrindavan. Because after Prabhupada left, he started staying in Pavan Sarovar. Near Pavan Sarovar, there is the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatana Goswami. So he used to do bhajan there. Even now, Babaji Maharaj's Samadhi is in that place, near Pavan Sarovar. Also, his godbrother, Deembandhu Das Babaji, another disciple of Prabhupada, he was also given Samadhi in that same place. And also, there is the Samadhi of Nimai Das Babaji Maharaj. So, all these disciples of Prabhupada, they used to do bhajan in Nandagaon. Because Nandagaon is a very special place. Because Radharani herself, she comes with all her Sakhis and Manjaris, and she cooks there for Krishna. She comes from Javad and she passes through Ter Kadam. Javad is right behind Ter Kadam. So she passes through Ter Kadam and then she goes to see Krishna there in Nandagaon. And we see that place, Pavan Sarovar, Krishna, he would come with all his sanghas and cows and they would play in that water, drink that water. So that place is like, it gives so much uddipan for like the sadhakas, especially for these disciples of Prabhupada. So there they would be thinking about all these things. So he used to stay there. So he used to do parikrama there along with all his godbrothers. So then it is said that in 1962, after the Kumbh Mela in Haridwar, so Kumbh Mela happens at different places at different times. Every 6 years it takes place. So the previous Kumbh Mela we had in Vrindavan, 2021. January. So this is called Ardha Kumbh Mela. Ardha Kumbh Mela takes place every 6 years. And there's one Kumbh Mela which takes place every 12 years. And there's one Kumbh Mela which takes place every 144 years. There's one Kumbh Mela. So that Kumbh Mela which took place every 144 years, I think in 2012, 2012, that was the year, every 144 years, the Kumbh Mela took place. So many devotees from our temple, they went distributing books also there. I think you also went, I think, no? You didn't go. I think it's Pran Govinda and Karuna, I think they went. The big one, 2012, no? That was like, that Kumbh Mela every 144 years it takes place. So in this way, after this Kumbh Mela in Haridwar, then everyone was present there. Then, just after Madhav Maharaj finished his morning lecture, then Babaji Maharaj, he was there. Then Madhav Maharaj, he told him, "Oh Babaji Maharaj, kindly do some kirtan." So then Babaji Maharaj, he started singing this kirtan, Sakhe Kalaya Gauram Udar. So this is a very rasik kirtan. This kirtan is written by Radha Mohan Das. Very beautiful kirtan. So that time, one devotee, he said, "Why are you singing Sanskrit kirtan? So who will understand?" Now, all these people are new people. So if you're singing such Sanskrit kirtans, they will not understand. Just chant Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, or Radhe Sham Sundar. Just normal names, like why such Sanskrit kirtans? So then, Babaji Maharaj, then, anyhow, he sang the entire kirtan. And then, then what happened? All the Punjabis there, normally the Punjabis, they don't know Sanskrit. But then, after Babaji Maharaj had finished singing this Sanskrit Kirtan, Sabe Kalaya Gauramuta, and all the Punjabis sitting in the audience, they started saying, oh, such a beautiful Kirtan. They're saying, very beautiful, very beautiful. Then the devotee who said you should not sing Sanskrit Kirtans, he was asked, you told Babaji Maharaj not to sing in Sanskrit. But here you see, all these people, they don't know Sanskrit, but then even then they're so happy with this Kirtan. Then he said, why? Because that Kirtan touched their hearts. And then you see, the next day, there was another person, an artist. So then, he was asked to sing. So then, when this person started singing, he was like a paid artist. Like, he was a musician. They give him money, then he starts singing. So then when he started singing the next day, then the same person who was glorifying Babaji Maharaj was saying, oh, even though I don't understand Sanskrit, nothing, still I'm so happy with this Kirtan. Then he stood up. And after like only 5-6 minutes after this person had sung, he stood up and he requested all the devotees, oh, I want this Maharaj to sing. I don't want him to sing. His heart, his Kirtan is not touching our hearts, but Maharaj's Kirtan, it is touching our hearts. So please request Babaji Maharaj to sing. Although we do not understand the words he sings, his voice touches our hearts. See here. Saying we don't understand anything, but still that bhav, that Kirtan, that is touching our hearts. So then again Babaji Maharaj, he started singing. And then he sang so many nice Kirtans. Like Namami Nandanandanam Munindra Vrinda Vandite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. All these Sanskrit Kirtans, and everyone was so happy. So therefore you see, Bhagavan, he only cares about this bhav, this mood. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what did he say? Hriday hoite bole, jiva ragrate chale, shabda rupe kore nritya. When one speaks from one's heart, Krishna dances on one's tongue in the form of sound. It is for this reason that Babaji Maharaj's Kirtan touches the hearts of those who hear it. Why? Because Krishna himself is dancing on his tongue. He's dancing in his heart. And when he's doing Kirtan, Krishna is being transmitted from his heart into the hearts of all the listeners. So then, one time, Babaji Maharaj, he was doing parikrama with all the devotees when they were staying at Brahmanda Ghat. So that time, Bhakti Maharaj is saying that it was my responsibility to make sure that all the devotees were properly giving lodging. Means I had to make sure that all the devotees were given nice arrangements. So then he said that I would arrange for Babaji Maharaj to sleep right next to me. So I set his bedding there next to me. So then I was thinking that he is like a guru to me. He is my Siksha guru. So how can I stay with him as though he is my god brother? He is my guru. So I should arrange a very nice place for him. So I told him, Babaji Maharaj, your sleep is likely to be disturbed. Because if I stay here, then the whole day, whole night, so many devotees will be coming, they'll be asking this, that, I'll have to attend to them. I'll have to make all arrangements for them. He said, so let me arrange another place for you, where no one can disturb me. Bhakti Maharaj requested Babaji Maharaj. Then he said, no, you will not disturb me. You will do your seva like however you feel like. No. So then, during those nights, I observed that no matter how many times I got up and came back, Babaji Maharaj would be sitting upright in his mosquito net, chanting the Maha Mantra the whole night. See here. Bhakti Maharaj is saying sometimes I have to go here and there in the night because all these devotees have many complaints, this, that. So even when I go so many times at different parts of the night, when I come back, Babaji Maharaj the whole night, he won't even sleep, just be chanting. The whole night just sitting there, just chanting within his mosquito. And he chanted in a very soft voice. Because he said, I don't want to disturb the other devotees. All the other devotees are resting. So I don't want to disturb them. In a very slow voice he was chanting. And it said that even when he would be reading books, he would he would read books under a candle. So then someone asked him, Maharaj, you can just put the light on. He said, no. If I put the light on, then they will be disturbed. So under the candle he would read books. Because he would say that if I disturb the other devotees, then how is that giving pleasure to Bhagavan? He said, because then they won't be able to wake up in the morning, so he won't even disturb them in any way. He was very sensitive and considerate when it came to the convenience of devotees. So, Babaji Maharaj, he did not, even when someone praised him, he did not feel any transformation. And even if someone criticized him, he wouldn't say anything. For him, praise, criticism, everything was the same. He just said Hare Krishna and he'd go. So then once, one devotee, it seemed he had criticized Babaji Maharaj. And he had written a letter to him. So then Babaji Maharaj responded by writing, "Oh Vaishnav Thakur, you have written the truth because you really love and care for me. Previously you used to encourage me through praise, but through your recent letter you have bestowed your most sincere mercy upon me." So one of his godbrothers, he wrote him a letter criticizing him, saying Babaji Maharaj is like this, he's like that, and all these things. So then some devotees asked him, saying, "Maharaj, your godbrother is criticizing you so much, and you're not going to say anything about it?" He said, "No. Previously this same godbrother, he used to praise me so much. And now he's criticizing me means what? He's giving me his real mercy. So I will not say anything," he said. This is the humility now. Like once Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he went to see one of his godbrothers. So then when he went to see one of his godbrothers, then this godbrother was very busy. So throughout the day, he didn't have any time to receive Puri Maharaj. So then anyhow, this godbrother, he sent some pranami through one of his disciples, and he gave it to Puri Maharaj. So then Puri Maharaj, as soon as he received the pranami, he went and he returned to the temple, and there was a donation box. He put that money inside the donation box. So then some devotees are telling him that, "Maharaj, you went to see him and he didn't even come and receive you. Is this proper?" Puri Maharaj said, "Don't find faults with him. If there's any fault to be found, the fault is to be found within me. I have committed Vaishnava Aparadha. Because he didn't want to see me, it means I have done something, not him. And because I have committed this Vaishnava Aparadha, I will fast the entire day." And the whole day he fasted because he couldn't meet his godbrother. So there's such humble Vaishnavas. And this humility also, you see, it touches the hearts of people. Now, sometimes if we try being humble, we see that it's not as sincere. But their humility, you see, pure humility. So Babaji Maharaj, he was Ajat Shatru. Means he never had any enemies. He would always spend time in the association of his godbrothers, like Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Kishore Maharaj, Bhakti Hridai Bam Maharaj, Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Daik Madhav Maharaj. He would visit all their temples, and then he would always spend time with them. So in this way, a few days before Madhav Maharaj was performing his disappearance pastime, Babaji Maharaj, he came to the Calcutta branch of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. Every day during his stay, he would sit nearby Madhav Maharaj and he would deeply absorb himself in performing kirtan. The night before Madhav Maharaj entered Nitya-lila, Babaji Maharaj performed Hari Kirtan throughout the night in a mood of painful separation. And then Madhav Maharaj, he left his body while Babaji Maharaj was doing kirtan. It is said that whenever he would do kirtan, then all his godbrothers become so overjoyed. Their eyes and face would blossom. Now when he would do kirtan, they would become so happy. So then when Madhav Maharaj left his body, then Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he remarked, he said, "I too wish to leave this world by listening to the kirtan of Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, who is perfect in chanting the holy name." See here. Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj also said, he also requested Babaji Maharaj that when I leave my body, just as I am about to leave my body, you also do kirtan. Then I will leave my body by listening to your kirtan. In this way. So then, it is said here that once while Babaji Maharaj performed this pastime of becoming very sick, then so many of us devotees, we engaged in his service. So then, when we would serve him, they received so much mercy from him, it is said. So then, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, he has written a nice glorification of Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. Because when Babaji Maharaj left this world, he left in 1982. Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he left in 1999. So he left 17 years after. And Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he was the editor of this magazine called Sri Chaitanya Vani. So this magazine was the journal of Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. Bhakti Daik Madhav Goswami Maharaj, he used to publish this magazine. So Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he wrote some words of Pushpanjali when his godbrother left. He said, Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he appeared in a highly educated, respected family of physicians. He even knew English, Babaji Maharaj. He has studied Bachelor of Arts during that time, during the British time. But still he would never speak in English. Very rarely he would speak. He would never speak. He only spoke mostly in Bengali. So then Babaji Maharaj, he appeared in a highly educated, respected family of physicians. He attended the Dhaka University and he completed a Bachelor of Arts degree before taking shelter of Prabhupada sometime between 1925 and 1926. The Brahmachari name Prabhupada gave him was Swa Adhikarananda Das Brahmachari. In the Mutt, we have long since and repeatedly seen how Babaji Maharaj was so attached to chanting Harinam day and night. So much so that some brahmacharis even complained to Prabhupada. They said, Prabhupada is only chanting day and night. So then Prabhupada said, how is he disturbing any of you? He is not disturbing any of you. Then Prabhupada said, alright, if you don't believe in his chanting, then you put an advertisement on the newspaper. You go there and you advertise in all the newspapers in Calcutta that anyone who comes to the Gaudiya Math, we'll look after him in all ways. We'll give him food, clothing, accommodation, everything. Only on one condition. What is that? He should chant the whole day and night. So in this way, this advertisement was placed on the newspaper and it was like distributed to lakhs of people. Because Calcutta was the capital of India then, not Delhi. During the British rule, Calcutta was the capital. But then although this advertisement was like given to everyone, still only 3 or 4 people came. Only 3 or 4. Now you can imagine lakhs of people they received, only 3 or 4 came. And even out of those 3 or 4, like they all left after 2-3 days. They couldn't take it anymore also. But Babaji Maharaj, he continued. And when he received this news that his godbrothers were displeased with him, not happy, he even left the temple. He said, alright, I will not stay here. I will not inconvenience them in any way. But then when Prabhupada found out, he was so unhappy. He said, just see, he's so humble. You criticized him. And still he didn't feel bad. And he left the temple. Now go and call him back. So then he sent the brahmacharis, and these brahmacharis fell at his feet. They asked him forgiveness, saying, please come back. So here Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj is saying, when I was staying in the temple, I have personally seen how attached he was to chanting the holy name. Like even the example is given when Narari Seva Vigraha Prabhu would chant, he would tie Shika to a nail and during the night. Because during the whole day he would have to do his services. So during the night he would tie Shika to a nail. And then sometimes if you would become a little drowsy, then immediately the Shika would be pulled up on place and he would continue chanting. So Buddha would say that once Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Maharaj, he had a fever of like 103 degrees. High fever he had. And even when he had a high fever, still the whole night he was chanting all these kirtans. Like Gopina, Mama Nivedana Sunno, Vishai Durjana, Sadaka Merata, Akinchana, whole night he was doing kirtan, despite having a high fever. And this when I saw by my own eyes how exalted these Vaishnavas were. So we were always amazed to hear the many Sanskrit prayers and shlokas he could recite and which he memorized, which were so numerous that it would be impossible to cover them all in a full month of non-stop recitation. So Bhaktivedanta Puri Maharaj is saying, even if one were to recite all these shlokas 1 month continuously, still it would be impossible. But for him it was possible. He memorized by heart all of Krishna Karnamrit, Ras Panchadhyayi, Brahma Samhita, Stavavali, Stavamala, Vriddavali, Vilap Kusumanjali, all these Sanskrit compositions. He would somehow recite all these prayers daily and chant 1 lakh Harinam. So see here, even when he would be reciting them, still he chant 1 lakh, 2 lakh, sometimes 3 lakh Harinam. Pujya Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Bam Maharaj, used to call him Nam Siddha. Means he was realized in the holy names, he was perfect. His Sanskrit pronunciation was very beautiful and his voice was also very sweet. He would be proficient in playing Mridanga. Even Paramgurudev, he had a godbrother called Ragbhushan. This Ragbhushan, when he would do Kirtan, everyone would be weeping. Paramgurudev also would be weeping and rolling on the floor. And when he would play on his Mridanga, you could see even the Mridanga was weeping. Such sweet sound coming from the Mridanga. So Babaji Maharaj's Vaishnava humility and renunciation were exemplary, and his character was pious and dignified. Never was there a day when he was seen expressing anger, violence, or hatred. If anyone would say anything to him in anger, he would simply say Hare Krishna and laugh. So even when people would shout at him, he wouldn't say anything, just say Hare Krishna and he'd be laughing. He was always so happy within himself. The scriptures said, Krishna Bhakte Krishna Guna Sakali Sanchari. Krishna infuses his devotees with all of his qualities. This was always seen in Babaji Maharaj's character. He was a prime recipient of Bhakti Devi. And because Bhakti Devi resided within his heart, he was a repository of all transcendental qualities. Practically all of the Vaishnavas in all the temples, they loved Babaji Maharaj. You see here, all of the temples, you go to all the different places. Bhakti Devi Mother Maharaj had great affection for him. Babaji Maharaj resided in many of the temples and he pleased all the devotees with his sweet Vaishnava behavior. Prior to entering into his unmanifest pastimes, at his Bhajan Kutir in Nandagram, Babaji Maharaj used to stay at Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Vrindavan, right here, his temple. And when he was admitted in this Ramakrishna hospital, right near this Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. However, his most beloved place to perform bhajan was a tiny secluded room in the original Akara Matraj Chaitanya Math, on the third floor of the Bhakti Vijay Bhavan, the Bhajan Kutir of Prabhupada. So as soon as you enter Chaitanya Math, near the gate you can see Bhakti Vijay Bhavan. Like 3 stories or 4 stories, 3-4 floors. Where Prabhupada used to reside. Prabhupada's disciple, Savicharandas Babaji, he built this place for him. So Prabhupada used to stay there, then right beside his Bhajan Kutir there was a small room, like a small room there. He used to do bhajan there, Babaji Maharaj. And he said, that is my favorite place. He said, even more dear to me than even Nandagaon. Why? Because his Guru Maharaj used to stay there. So he'd always tell everyone that I wanted to bhajan there. Aside from there, in whichever math he visited, he would always look for a quiet place to perform his bhajan. He was a living example of the words, Dekho bhai, naam bina, dina nahi jai. He would always tell everyone, look brother, let not a single day go by without the chanting of Harinam, he would say. Whoever he would meet, he would always say, chant Mahamantra, don't waste your time. And if you go to any temple, he would say, look, I don't want anything. I'll do Madhukari myself, I'll do everything myself. Just give me one quiet place to stay, somewhere in a corner. And he would do his Mahamantra there. He was a living example of this ideal. He never spent his time in useless conversation. He never considered anyone as his enemy. He never had any enemies. Not like we see Yudhishthira. He never thought of Duryodhana as his enemy. If someone would call Duryodhana by his name, Yudhishthira would say, don't call him Duryodhana, call him Suyodhana. Don't call his younger brother Dushasan, call him Sushasan. Don't call him Karna, call him Sukarna. Yudhishthira was like this. Before Yudhishthira went into that gambling match with Duryodhana, then Yudhishthira even blessed Duryodhana. He said, may you be victorious. And Shakuni said, what are you saying? Even before you're gambling with him, you're already blessing him with victory. Yudhishthira said, yes, he's my younger brother. I'm his elder brother. My duty is to bless him. This is Babaji Maharaj also. Ajar Shatru, no enemies whatsoever. Today, the more I remember him, the deeper and deeper I feel his absence. And my heart becomes exceedingly distraught. So who's speaking these words? Pujwa Bhakti Prabhu Puri Maharaj. He's saying, the more I remember him, the more I'm becoming distraught in separation. During Parikrama, I had the good fortune of staying with him in the same room. Because then I saw how he sat and chanted Naam throughout the night and recited the countless verses he knew. All night just doing Saraswati and chanting. Puri Maharaj is saying, I witnessed by my own eyes. Although he would sing the holy names while playing Mridanga, for the entire distance of our Parikrama, I never saw him becoming even a little fatigued. He was always smiling. He was so old, he was in his 80s, but the whole time he would be leading Kirtan from front, playing on his Mridanga, all night, continuously. He would never be tired. Many wealthy people would give Babaji Maharaj money and many expensive things, but he would never keep any of it for himself. Instead, he would distribute those items for the service of Bhagavan and the Vaishnavas. He usually wore just a short knee-length garment around his waist, and he kept a simple bed mat and a sheet. He gladly went through the harsh cold of winters with a simple blanket, and while always smiling, always satisfied at heart. Even when it was so cold, all he had was just a simple blanket, nothing. A person who is constantly immersed in contemplation of Bhagavan does not notice the things around him. Because he is in the stage of bhav now. See, what care does he have of this environment? Babaji Maharaj was never eager for any material gain, worship or prestige. Indeed, he did not long for such things at all, because he was the personification of this Trinadapi Sunichena verse. He embodied this verse of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here Puri Maharaj is saying, alas, alas, now I have lost the company of such an exemplary Vaishnava, who took such great delight in chanting the holy names. Who knows how long I will have to endure the hellish torture of this unlucky life on the earthly plane. See how Puri Maharaj is expressing his separation. He's saying like, in separation from my god brother, I'm like suffering. It seems also I'm staying in hell. It's so hellish for me, he's saying. So then, Babaji Maharaj, he would print many stickers in Hindi and Bengali. Means many like postcards about the principle of Kirtaniya Salahari and Mahamantra. So wherever he would go, be it Brajmandal, God Mandal or Jagannath Puri Kshetra Mandal, he would put all these pictures everywhere in all the temples. Like chant the Mahamantra, do Kirtan, all these things. Reading or even seeing these stickers always brings to mind so many sweet memories of him. There are so many places in Braj where he propagated these teachings by means of stone etchings. He would even write the Mahamantra on stones. He would etch the Mahamantra on the stones. Somehow he would take a chisel and he would use that chisel to write the Mahamantra on stones, on stone slabs. So attached to chanting. Very dear to Srila Babaji Maharaj were the many songs written by the presiding Acharya of Chaitanya Saraswat Math, who is Tilanti Swami Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Now, Sridhar Maharaj has written so many beautiful Staustutis like Bhaktivedanta Viraha Dashakam, Gaur Dham Stotra, Prabhupada Padmastava, Daita Dashakam, Daita Ashtakam, and Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ashtakam, Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ashtakam. So Babaji Maharaj had memorized all the Staustutis of his beloved godbrother. He had so much love for Sridhar Maharaj. He has a very nice temple in his birthplace called Happaniya. So Happaniya is a village which is like 200-250 kilometers from Navati. So there they built a very nice temple for him. So Babaji Maharaj would even go to his birthplace and he would take the dust of that place. And he would say a pure devotee has appeared in this place. He would put that dust all over his head, all over his body. Sridhar Maharaj has appeared, he said, in this place. He had a very intimate relationship with him. So Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he has written many beautiful Staustutis like Prabhupada Padma Stavaka, Bhaktivedanta Viraha Dashakam, Daita Das Dashakam, Gaur Kishore Namaskar Dashakam, and the 70 verses of Prem Dham Stotra. So Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he especially would chant this one shloka, which is Krishna 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 Nama Kirtanam Rama Rama Gana Ramya Divya Chandanartanam Yatra Yatra Krishna Nama Dana Loka Nistaram Prema Dhama Devam Eva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. So we used to always sing this now before the God. You know Vishnudevat Maharaj? You heard? Bhaktivedanta Vishnudevat. He has memorized all of this. All these verses he has memorized, Vishnudevat. I remember in Navadvip once, before Gurudev was coming, he was singing all these verses by heart. And when Gurudev came, he was so happy. He said, "You memorized all of this?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Very good." Gurudev said, "I'm so happy." He said, "Everything is memorized, all these things." So then, here, the meaning is, I worship that Lord, the abode of love, Gaur Sundar, who always danced as he sang the names Krishna, 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 and Ram, Ram. In beautiful melodies, wherever he went, he bestowed the names of Krishna and delivered the people of that place. So he often sang the above verse as well as one of the lines from Prabhupada's song Vaishnav Ke. Karo Uchchai Soy Harinam Rava. Chant the names of Sri Hari at the top of your voice. Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj would say. Babaji Maharaj printed a small booklet containing a collection of teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dear associates, the Goswamis, regarding Nam Bhajan. He would distribute this booklet to everyone, everywhere, free of charge, and give it to others to distribute as well. See here, a small book which had all the teachings of Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis in regard to chanting the holy name. He published and he would give it out to everyone he saw, free of charge. Everyone he came across, he gave this book. He had so much enthusiasm when it came to the practice and preaching of Harinam. Krishna was very merciful to have granted us the fortune of associating with a Vaishnava so dedicated to the chanting of the holy names. Today it is a matter of great misfortune that we have been deprived of his company. But as it is said, Swatanta Krishna Richa Vailo Sangapanga, means by the independent will of Krishna, my association with him has been severe. So now Puri Maharaj is saying, during Rajamandal Parikrama last Kartik, we had his audience at that same Bhajan Kutir in Nandagaon, where he said, I will not go anywhere else now. He said, now I will leave my body here. So Nandagaon was a time where he chose to do his bhajan. So being a Vaishnava, Babaji Maharaj saw no faults in others. So Puri Maharaj is saying that was the last time I interacted with him. In Nandagaon, I met him there for the last time. That was so being a Vaishnava, Babaji Maharaj saw no faults in others. All I pray is that he may, out of his good fortune, purify me of the various offences and mistakes I committed at his feet, either knowingly or unknowingly. So see, Bhaktivedanta Puri Maharaj, the Mahabharata Vaishnava, but still see his humility. Once one devotee remarked that Puri Maharaj was a Kanishta Vaishnava, Bhaktivedanta Puri Maharaj. So then when Puri Maharaj's disciples heard this, they were crying so much. Oh, Guru Maharaj, what is he saying? And Puri Maharaj saying, he has called me a Kanishta Vaishnava. Means at least he has addressed me as a Vaishnava. What can be a greater good fortune for me than him addressing me as a Vaishnava? Why are you feeling so sad? You should be so happy that another Vaishnava has called me a Vaishnava. So here also see, he's saying, may Babaji Maharaj forgive me for my offences. It is our misfortune that one by one, all of Prabhupada's intimate associates are leaving this world and going back to the spiritual world, thereby depriving us of the great fortune of their company. As Babaji Maharaj has recently entered those eternal pastimes, my sole prayer at his lotus feet is to also very soon serve the lotus feet of my eternal Guru Padma alongside him. So Puri Maharaj is saying, my desire is I also want to serve my Prabhupada along with him. By leaving this world, Prabhupada's disciples are attempting to educate us. Sheshas Tavaram Ichanti Kimmascharyam Ataparam. The greatest wonder is that people think they will live forever despite the inevitability of death. Now, Yudhishthira, he told this to the Yaksha. When Yaksha asked him, what is the most surprising thing you see in this world? He said, everyone is dying, still a person thinks he will not die. Or as Lakshman has said, Nishwasa Naiva Vishwasa Kalarudho Bhavishyati. One cannot trust, one might stop breathing. So, Prabhupada's disciples are teaching us that we will not stay for long in this world. We will only stay here temporarily. And as long as we stay here, we should do Hari Bhajan. But we are so unfortunate that even after listening and witnessing these lessons, we are unable to learn them and thus continue to act in ignorance. So this way Bhaktivedanta Puri Maharaj, he wrote these words of Pushpanjali to his godbrother in 1982 in the Chaitanya Vani magazine. So now we run out of time, but there's this very beautiful book on the life of Babaji Maharaj. This, when Gopananda Maharaj was staying here, one devotee from ISKCON, he had compiled a nice book about Babaji Maharaj. So he came and he offered this book to Gopananda Maharaj. Because Gopananda Maharaj, he has also given a Pushpanjali for Babaji Maharaj. Because Gopananda Maharaj was like his sevak for so much time. In fact, once Gopananda Maharaj, he wanted to stay with him there in Nandagaon and do bhajan there. Then Babaji Maharaj chastised him. He said, hey, what are you doing? Your Guru Maharaj is there in Vrindavan, you're staying with me. Go back, he said. And then even when Babaji Maharaj was very sick here in Ramakrishna Hospital, Gopananda Maharaj, he served him very much. So he would say, even the Kirtan style that I follow is his Kirtan style. So in this book here, so here you see this person has compiled this book called Babru Das. So he has also written here, he's saying for Sri Srimad Gopananda Maharaj, I always beg your blessings, your servant, Babru Das. So many beautiful memories here also. There's this Davanal Kund here, if you see there's a huge kunda right here. Babaji Maharaj used to do bhajan there in this way. So also many disciples of Swami Maharaj, how they had their association with him. So here there's so many beautiful memories. When we get the chance, as and when we get the chance, we'll speak about them. So we'll stop here. Pujyapad Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Sabarsha Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Pradev ki jai. Brahmadev jai. Rupaka Prabhupada ki jai. Tai Gaur